All right, what's going on YouTube? It's the AJ Experience. I finally finished Daredevil Born Again, and I thought it was okay. When you compare it to the previous Netflix seasons, it doesn't stand a chance against it. Season one is an instant classic, and to me, season three is by far like one of the greatest seasons of any show I have ever seen. So it was a lot of hype coming into Daredevil Born Again because the D23 trailer leaks came out, the anticipation, like a lot of people was very excited about this show, including myself. And when we got that first trailer, it's like, oh my gosh, he looks so good in the suit as in Matt Murdock. The tone look as if they're gonna keep that same tone from the previous, reiteration. Now there were a red flag pertaining to this show because I know the first creative team, I think they filmed like 4 episodes and then they just straight got fired. And then they had to bring in, I think, some of the original creators of the Netflix reiteration, and they had to bring them in, and they had to do a whole bunch of rewrites and stuff like that. And in some aspects of the show, it definitely shows, because I know when they do like that hyper realistic filming of, I think the girl was called the B&B Report. She's the niece of the guy, the reporter that got killed in the original run of Daredevil. I think some of those cuts were like the previous showrunner and the previous creative team that helmed the project. But I feel as if when the show aspects of it being like the older version of the show, it really thrived. That dark, gritty take on it. Now you could definitely tell that this show has a much bigger budget than a Netflix reiteration, because the simple fact that Daredevil is like, swinging through the city, he's jumping through high rises and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's also pretty cool. And I also like how they really emphasized like his superhuman attributes, like how he could kind of really home in on his senses and really listen into your heartbeat, see you sweating and all that stuff. And he could really, tell as if you're lying. So I really love that aspect of the show, because definitely, they could definitely show that on the bigger budget. Now, there's also moments where you notice that they're filming on the green screen, and at times it kind of takes me out of the moment. In a way, I kind of miss how they was kind of restricted on the tighter budget, and it just felt more grounded and more realistic, back then with Netflix. Now, also in this, the first couple episodes, Matt Murdock wasn't Daredevil because of obvious reasons. What happened in the first episode, which literally, it really, really surprised me. I mean, they were really bold with what they decided to do, as in just, taking Foggy out. I mean, that was just ridiculous in my opinion. I like Foggy as a character. At times, he could be a little bit annoying, but just to see all these characters back, it was like, oh my gosh, we're finally here. And for them to kill him in the first episode, it kind of made me a little bit upset. I'm not even gonna lie. And then they backseated Karen too. Like, Karen was non-existent at all in this story. I think that was also too part of the previous team. I think, matter of fact, yeah, I think that originally this was gonna be kind of like a soft reboot, like just as in it wasn't connecting to the previous shows, the previous seasons, I mean, which that was really a stupid idea to even try to do. And then when they brought in the previous people, they was like, oh wait, no, this will connect to the previous stuff. So I don't know. I think the previous people, the first showrunners, were the ones who was like, you know what? It'd be a really good idea. Let's go kill Foggy. And Karen's not going to be involved in this story at all. I mean, even the Punisher had like what, one or two scenes. Like he was kind of like hidden in his little apartment and all that stuff, and he pops out here and there. I don't know, man. I expected a little bit more. I kind of feel as if they didn't really know what to do with certain plot lines, like the whole Muse character. He was somewhat interesting. He's using people's blood for his paintings, but you kill him, what, a couple episodes in or whatever. I mean, but you know, you kill Muse. You didn't really like set him up as a character all that much. What else? The White Tiger guy. You know, we spent like 2-3 episodes with him, and the whole courtroom scenes could have been a little bit better. It was kind of boring at times. I'm not gonna lie, but you know, you set up this White Tiger character. I'm thinking he's gonna be, you know, pretty much involved in the story, and then when he finally gets released, you kill him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kill him. So I don't know. I just kind of just feel as if this story was like all over the place. Um, but honestly, to me, this new reiteration felt more of a Kingpin Vanessa plotline with Kingpin and his wife Vanessa. Now, I didn't care too much of, you know, their marriage problems. I mean, it's character development, you know, but I didn't care too much of it. You know, I understand, because, you know, Kingpin was kind of gone, Vanessa was holding down the fort, and then he pops back up, and, you know, that's kind of hard, you know, your pride and everything, like, and then the organization's like, hey, you was running things better than him. So you kind of have that aspect of it, but, you know, and another thing too, we didn't really get much scenes with Kingpin and Daredevil together. I think it was just the one little sit down that they had in the cafe, dance sequence that they did, which they didn't even have like words spoken to at all too. So I don't know, you know. I mean, I also kind of like the plot line that Kingpin was going through, just basically taking over New York City as the new mayor. I thought that was kind of cool. But a lot of these new characters, I just kind of felt as if they wasn't really all that interesting. And the fight scenes didn't feel as good. Like the choreograph scenes didn't feel as great. I did like that little one-off episode of, you know, Matt Murdock being in the bank, and then you see Miss Marvel's dad. I thought that was kind of cool. I do appreciate the fact that we had 9 episodes instead of the 6 episodes that Disney Plus show's been giving us. Freaking garbage, man. So you kind of can flush out some of the characters a little bit more. But overall, I thought the show was okay. It was okay. I guess I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I mean, my gosh, I'm giving a lot of these shows 6s. But yeah, it was a 6. It was a 6 out of 10. Do I feel as if this season is better than any of the other 3 seasons? No. I like season 1 a lot. Season 3 is the best. Season 2 is still pretty good. This I'm gonna put below all of that, if I'm being honest. But hopefully season 2 is much better. I'm hearing rumors that the Defenders will be in season 2, so I'm very excited about that. And hopefully season 2 is a little bit better. But thank you guys, and on to the next one.